Dear Rania Patsiopoulou, President of the Hellenic Swedish Chamber of Commerce, and not least also dear Anders Only, the Director General of the Swedish National Board of Trade. We're incredibly happy that you accepted to be with us today. And dear members of the Greek and Swedish business community, good afternoon, Kalispera Sas. It's really fantastic to be present here at the 8th Business Forum Greece, Sweden. I'd right away like to compliment and congratulate Rania and the fantastic team at the Chamber, together with the colleagues in the Embassy, for good collaboration in preparing this event and for all the achievements in the past year. So a very big sinkaritiria from me and the entire team in the Embassy. As you will surely know, the single most important task given to us by our political masters and mistresses in Sweden to the Embassy is to strengthen the economic ties between Sweden and Greece. And that work would simply not be possible without the very close collaboration with and active participation of Rania and her team in the Hellenic Swedish Business Chamber. The amazing energy and commitment that goes into preparing these business forums every year now for the 8th year running. It's truly a testament to that energy and commitment. And Rania and her team, I would actually go so far as saying that in many respects they are the true ambassadors of Sweden to Greece 24/7 here before my arrival and will be here after my departure. And today's theme, a new business environment is emerging, is certainly, although a bit unfortunately perhaps, well chosen, because we find ourselves today at multiple crossroads. It's a bit of an understatement to say that we live in an age of growing uncertainty. We see new trade blocs and alliances emerging, upending what we until very recently took for granted. As Rania alluded to, the overall global security situation sometimes seems to become more challenging and complex by the day. Russia's brutal war on Ukraine is one example. The war between Israel and Hamas, caused by Hamas atrocities, is another example. And even though both these conflicts are vastly different in many respects, they also illustrate that the days are long gone when conflicts and wars stayed local. Those days are simply not coming back. But uncertainty is not just about security and geopolitics. At the same time, the competition for capital, competition for competence and technology is intensifying. All this is taking place to the backdrop of an incredibly challenging environment when it comes to energy production and tremendous efforts, both private and public, to invest in the transition to renewable energy. But change and new challenges also mean new opportunities. And I'm, of course, as a Swedish ambassador, very proud to represent a country that I believe has a story to tell in this regard. Sweden currently ranks as the 4th most globalized country in the world. We rank number 3 on the Global Innovation Index, and we actually rank as number 3 on the Network Readiness Index, and so on and so forth. So, dear friends, forgive me for banging the drum for my own country, but I guess that's what I'm supposed to do as an ambassador. But no matter the strengths of an individual country, in uncertain times such as the ones we're living, no stronger partnerships and friendships between countries are, of course, more important than ever. And as the Hellenic Swedish Chamber shows, the partnership between Sweden and Greece is an example of such a partnership. And I think I would like to elaborate a bit about what, to me, makes the partnership and the friendship between Sweden and Greece so special. Because it's both an interpersonal, cultural, and political partnership. And it's also an old partnership, and we tend to sometimes forget that. And rooted in the love of liberty and a passion for culture. Liberty. Swedes were among the so-called Philhellenes that chose to join the Greek freedom struggle in the 1820s. Some of you, just like myself, have probably been in the Garden of Heroes in Missolonghi and seen that there's a big prominent obelisk in the Garden of Heroes in Missolonghi dedicated to Swedish Philhellenes who sacrificed their lives for Greek liberty during the struggle. And culture, this year the Swedish Institute in Athens, a prominent archaeological research institute, will actually celebrate its 75th birthday. Swedish archaeologists, as you might know, have been doing field work together with Greek colleagues for now more than 100 years. And I, together with some colleagues, I witnessed some of the ongoing work in Crete just a couple of weeks ago. And 2023 is also the year in which we will celebrate 60 years. That 60 years has passed since the Nobel Prize was awarded for the first time to a Greek laureate, George Seferis. And thanks to generous support of some of the companies present here today, including SKF and the Sarakakis group of companies, the Benaki Museum's Giga galleries will, starting next week, inaugurate an exhibition commemorating the award of the Nobel Prize to George Seferis. And I'm sure that you know that the medals and diplomas for both Seferis and another Greek Nobel Prize laureate, Odysseas Elitis, are both on display in the Greek gallery. But Sweden and Greece is also is also an example of, and not least important when it comes to business and networking. It's also a story of interpersonal relationships. People-to-people links are strong. We have thousands of Swedes who proudly claim Greek heritage and ancestry. New bonds are being formed as we speak and meet here today. Every year, an astonishing 850,000 Swedes visit Sweden, so we almost have 10% of the Swedish population going on vacation in Greece. Pretty remarkable, if you ask me. So just Crete as a destination receives 150,000 Swedes annually coming for Greek food and culture, and this time of the year also sun. I saw that the temperature right now in Stockholm is between 3 to 4 degrees, and the sun is certainly not shining. So that's the way it is. But finally, it's also about a solid and strong political partnership and relationship. The firm Greek support for Swedish accession to NATO and the swift and speedy ratification in the Greek parliament of the act of accession to NATO of Sweden is certainly not something that will be ever forgotten by the Swedish people. And on the note of the political partnership and the like-mindedness that has increased over the years, I think you will agree with me, Anders, that the meetings you had this morning, first with the Prime Minister's economic advisor, Alex Patelis, followed by the Bank of Greece Governor Yannis Tornaras, very much showed in what I think some Swedes would actually be surprised at the amazing level of like-mindedness, views on the importance of free trade, views on European integration. In other words, the foundations of the partnership, and that also, of course, ultimately leads to why we're here today, the business partnership between Sweden and Greece is stronger than ever. And the collaboration between the embassy and the Hellenic Swedish Business Chamber is certainly stronger than ever. So thank you very much for listening to me and allowing me to reflect a bit both on the past of a Greek-Swedish relationship and an ever-brightening brighten future. So we have a great afternoon ahead of us and many great years and decades and centuries of Greek-Swedish cooperation. So, Efcharisto Parapoli, it's a great pleasure to be here today. Thank you.